What is a poor person hack you picked up during a hard time that you still use today, even if you don't have to? Help out your neighbors without asking for payment when they're in need and when you are able. I've been showered with free food, things, and acts of service from grateful neighbors. I got pregnant in grad school, aka the poorest I've ever been in my life. Anyhow, I was in a major US city and frequently perused Craigslist ads for free baby stuff. I responded to one for a few items, and when I showed up, she had more. I was so grateful that I went home and wrote her a thank you note. She later emailed me about even more items, like a bassinet. I'm still so very grateful to her for her generosity. By the time our daughter was a toddler, we were in a much better place financially and we were able to pay it forward. I didn't sell any of the items I had received for free and gave away most of the ones I actually bought. My daughter is in middle school now and her outgrown items go through our local Buy Nothing group. We all do better when we help each other out. A 20 to 50 pound bag of rice in your pantry will pick up a lot of slack in your diet when you're poor. I'm not poor anymore, but I always have a ton of rice at home. Rice and eggs, rice and ground meat, rice and a can of chili, etc. I wasn't always eating good, but I was never hungry. Peanut butter oatmeal is really cheap calories and nutrition. Chug water with every meal to feel full. Learning to love my crock pot and eating the same meal for an entire week, an amazing money saver, and I still do it because it was an ingrained habit for years. Work on storage techniques, generally, freezing, and in portions, and reheating, and you can even rotate meals so you don't get stuck eating the same thing for an entire week. I do this. 2 dinners, maybe a lunch from the crock pot, freeze the rest, then I do a little shop in my freezer and still get to eat based on mood, or a surprise because I am a bad labeler. Parks and trails are free entertainment that make you healthier and less depressed the more you use them. I live up against a huge park/mountain in the city, and when I get bored I make myself climb at LMAO. Library. My kids ravage through books. We easily save thousands a year using the library. And learn about all the other services your library offers. Ours has tools, baking supplies, and all sorts of random things also available to loan. I was able to sign up for online classes at my local community college for free through my library account. Wanted to use an expensive software for one personal project, was able to use it on a library computer specifically set up for that kind of project. It's really astounding how many things they have that most people have no idea about. Keep old things as a backup pair, shoes, glasses, etc. Often I wouldn't have money for new things if something broke, so if a pair of shoes fell apart I would at least have a crappy pair until I could afford some new ones. I'm surprised this isn't a given with glasses. You break your glasses once as a kid and you understand why you keep the last pair around. And I end up with a backup pair of shoes because whenever I get a new pair, the last pair tends to get retired to lawn duty. Google the fix for something that is broken, and if you think you can do it, try. The amount of crooks in appliance repair is insane. If you are absolutely, for sure, going to overdraw and there's nothing you can do to prevent it, go buy a grocery store gift card before the overdraw hits. Now you have access to food and gas without having to get dinged for multiple overdraft fees before your next paycheck comes in. Just make sure that the total overdraft, including the big bill plus the gift card, doesn't exceed your maximum overdraft. Better still is to not overdraft in the first place, but when your shit happens. Out of toothpaste? Cut the tube open and scrape it clean. I do this with all my hair products too, and lotion. Darning socks, repairing ripped jeans. Only in the night when there's nobody there. No dollar days. See how many days you can go without spending $1. Then try to beat your previous records. Also, $3 per day equals $1,000 per year. This is especially easy to do when you have nothing to spend. $5 Costco whole chicken 1x week, top ramen, rice, beans and eggs. This got me through months of low-income months. It was like $50 to $60 for a month of 2 meals/day. Boil the carcass down for broth for soup later. Never go to the grocery store hungry, always go after you eat. Best advice I heard on this was, make your list hungry, and go to the store full. There are some exceptions, but for the most part, store brand is just as good or the same as name brand. In the case of Kirkland, it might be superior. Beans are a magical food, even better if you make them yourself. Buy a 1-pound bag of dry beans for $1.25 and that is a good amount of protein and fiber. Start a jar collection. I haven't used plastic baggies in years. Everything goes into the jars. I'm laughing at the thought of opening the fridge and seeing pizza inside of a jar. Sleeping is a cheap meal. My brother and I would always call it eat and sleep for dinner. We were never poor enough that it was a requirement, but we were close enough that it did help the budget. We'd drink a ton of water and hit the sack at like 8 sometimes just so we could get to breakfast.